tonight. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has announced that there will be no local government elections this year. The Department of Correctional Services of Jamaica received medical supplies from the government of the United States to help mitigate the impact of COVID-19.
The U.S. government, through the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, is donating medical supplies and equipment to the Department of Correctional Services to assist with the preventing and mitigating the impact of COVID-19 at its facilities.
Still tonight, Prime Minister Andrew Holness addresses handing over of social housing project, and Prime Minister Holness says the government is not relying solely on the zones of special operations to tackle crime. Good evening. Jamaica has recorded 44 new cases of COVID-19 and 10 additional deaths from the virus in the last 24 hours. According to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the latest fatalities are 5 males, including 2 males from St. Catherine, aged 57 and 73 years, as well as 2 males from St. James, aged 53 and 76 years, and a 54-year-old from Kingston and St. Andrew, as well as 5 females, an 85-year-old from St. Mary, 2 females from St. Catherine, aged 46 and 96 years respectively, and 2 females from Kingston and St. Andrew, aged 53 and 54 years. Now, this increases the country's death toll to 1,075. 1 additional death was also reported as under investigation. Meanwhile, the new cases comprise 27 females and 17 males, ranging in age from 59 days to 84 years. This brings the total of confirmed coronavirus cases in the country since the outbreak to 50,124. The new cases were recorded as follows. St. Catherine recorded 12 cases. Kingston and St. Andrew recorded 11 cases. St. Elizabeth, St. James, St. Thomas recorded 5 cases each. St. Anne recorded 3 cases, and Clarendon, Hanover, and Trelawney recorded 1 case each. Meanwhile, a total of 117 persons recovered from the virus in the last 24 hours, taking the total of recovered persons to 30,074. There are 18,617 active cases of COVID-19 on the island. Still making the news tonight, speaking at the official opening of the Olympic Way police station earlier today, Prime Minister Andrew Holness announced that there will be no local government elections this year. He also refuted claims that the COVID-19 measures have been relaxed for the elections.
I have been seeing reports in the press from various quarters that in anticipation of a local government election, the government has somehow recrafted the protocols. Nonsense. There will be no local government elections held this year. Let me make it absolutely clear to everyone. And certainly, there will be no local government election held until I am satisfied that Jamaica is on the right trajectory for vaccination. So all those who are looking for excuse to go on mobilization tours and break the DRMA regulations, because some of what I have seen, I am wondering how it is that the Disaster Risk Management Act, which is policed by ODPEM, is not enforced on those who would seek, under the guise of some false mobilization, to break the protocols.
Continuing with the news tonight, the government of the United States, in partnership with the CDC, is donating medical supplies to the Department of Correctional Services of Jamaica to help mitigate the impact of COVID-19. Here is Colleen May with more on this story.
The U.S. government is donating more than $4 million worth of medical supplies to the Department of Correctional Services in Jamaica. This, according to the U.S. Embassy. Representative John McIntyre highlights the U.S. government's continued commitment to help Jamaica's fight against COVID-19.
The U.S. government, through the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, is donating medical supplies and equipment to the Department of Correctional Services to assist with the preventing and mitigating the impact of COVID-19 at its facilities. The donated items, valued at 4.5 million Jamaican dollars, include single-use face masks, non-contact thermometers, vital signs monitors, monitor rolling stations, medicine trolleys, nebulizing kits, which, by the way, are incredibly effective, both surface and hand sanitizers, along with other personal protective equipment, when we all know that acronym, PPE, and materials. This donation supplements the 700 million Jamaican dollars that the embassy has contributed so far to Jamaica's efforts in controlling the pandemic. And that will keep going. So I just want to be very clear. If that comes out and anywhere, it's not stopping. This event highlights U.S. government's continued commitment to supporting Jamaica's response, to the current COVID-19 pandemic. So this is my final thought. I do want to say a professional and personal thank you to the minister for highlighting the need for this equipment and these services at correctional facilities. It's something that often can be overlooked, and we in the U.S. government, and especially our embassy, appreciate the minister's efforts in this regard.
Meanwhile, Senator Matthew Samuda says this donation will not be taken lightly.
The mention of the 4.5 million donation is not to be taken lightly. It is, as Chargé d'Affaires John McIntyre would have mentioned, is a part of the partnership that we have enjoyed from the U.S. government in relation to our government's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. It is but a part of more to come, as would have been mentioned. We look forward to the discussions of those next steps, especially vaccines. The partnership is real, and this is it coming to life. It's not just a handover, it's the significant work and communication that has gone between both teams over a long period of time. I understand that the DCS and CDS offices were indeed in communication about the specificities that we required, including single-use face masks, non-contact thermometers, sanitizers, nebulizing kits. I know from family experience that those indeed do work very well.
He added that the donation helps them to quickly address the lack of visitation issues they are facing.
The facts are the restrictions and the protocols that we've put in place come at a cost, not just an economic cost, but the psychosocial treatment of our inmates and their own mental state, we believe, has been affected by the lack of visitation. And it is something that weighs on all of us constantly, and it is something that we want to address very, very quickly. And it's not that we didn't put in place the digital visitation and for conversations, etc., to be had. It's just that in Jamaica, where that comes with cultural issues, the trust in that sort of communication doesn't necessarily allow for it to be used in the way that you want. We did it for additional counseling, but there's nothing like face-to-face interaction as you're trying to make the social interventions to bring about the changes you need in inmates. And Lord knows we need those changes as we try to bring down our recidivism rate.
Director of Medical Services, Dr. Roya Poe, thanked the CDC for the donation, which she says helps to limit the number of cases within the institutions.
These donations have helped us to implement other prevention measures and to limit the number of cases within our institutions. And as Minister announced earlier, currently we have no infections in the institution, so that's really great. The health and safety of inmates is one of our highest priorities, and we are grateful for this contribution, inclusive of thermometers, nebulizing kits, sanitizers, and we're getting an AED machine, well, 2 AED machines, and that's really something that we've wanted for a long time. So thank you so much. The management of the pandemic within our institutions is one that requires knowledge, skills, and resources, and this donation is a testament to the strengths that partnerships provide for organizations like ours, and the level of success we can achieve when we partner with others to provide the care. So on behalf of the Department of Correctional Services and the Ministry of National Security, thank you very, very much. Thank you, everyone.
Reporting for Mello TV News, I'm Colleen May.
Still making Mello TV news, the Tourism Enhancement Fund, TEF, has signed a Memorandum of Understanding MOU with the Jamaican National Small Business Loans Limited, JNSBL, to make $70 million accessible to operators in the tourism ground transportation subsector who have been negatively impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, the announcement was made by Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett in Parliament yesterday, where he provided an update on the recovery of the tourism sector. Mr. Bartlett said, quote, "I am happy to announce that we have finalized plans for our latest relief initiative for tourism workers. The Tourism Enhancement Fund, TEF, has put in motion an injection of 70 million Jamaican dollars to support tourism ground transportation operators who have suffered tremendously from the ravages of the COVID-19 pandemic and the massive downturn in tourism over the last year." End quote. The tourism minister stated that the loans will be accessible at any JN branch starting tomorrow, July 1, 2021, and will be offered at a 0% interest rate with an 8-month moratorium on the principal and a maximum repayment period of 3 years with no processing fees. Minister Bartlett also stated that the COVID-19 relief loan facility will be available to members of JUTA, JCAL, and Maxi Ground transportation providers who must meet the criteria for eligibility. As we continue with the news tonight, following the opposition's concerns about the increase in crime across Jamaica, Prime Minister Andrew Holness, while speaking at the sitting of Parliament yesterday, noted that the government is not relying solely on the zones of special operations to tackle crime.
I reiterate that the security forces continue to apply operational strategies across all vulnerable communities with an immediate priority on the southern belt of the corporate area, which has experienced a spike in major crimes in the last couple of months. This government is therefore not relying solely on the designation of an area as a zone of special operations to meet the critical public safety and security needs of our people.
Still in Parliament yesterday, Minister of Education Favour Williams announced that students who are considered as not ready to move on to their next academic level will be engaged in face-to-face teaching in the National Summer Program, which begins on Monday.
Tier 2 students are to be facilitated online, guided by the classroom teacher, who may volunteer to assist, or by tutors recruited by the ministry. Students will be grouped based on their tier levels relative to the existing data on performance and instructional needs. The ministry will be partnering with the various service providers who will use their existing platforms to carry out the daily lessons and activities. The service providers engaged by the ministry will identify, recruit, and deploy available trained teachers who are willing to participate in the initiative as tutors, available retired teachers who are also willing to participate as tutors, and available final year Teachers College students as assistant tutors. Madam Speaker, it's also important to note that a major component of the Recover Smarter National Extra Lesson National Homework Program, the ministry, as a means of mitigating against the effects of the learning loss experience, is providing financial support for the implementation of the National Extra Lesson and the National Homework Support Program.
Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke in Parliament yesterday explained the poverty rate for 2019.
By region, relative to 2018, the poverty prevalence declined in the Greater Kingston metropolitan area to 4.7%, which is a decrease of 4.5 percentage points. So there's a real obliteration from 9.2 in 2018 to 4.7 in 2019. However, the poverty rate remains stable in other urban centers. It remained relatively stable in other urban centers of 13.4 which was 13.4%, a slight increase. And in rural areas, the poverty rate declined from 15% in 2018 to 14.2% in 2019.
He also stated that the contraction in GPA and job losses will likely impact the poverty measures.
With the 10% contraction in GDP, the 130,000 jobs that we have lost will likely impact the poverty measures in 2020. The Planning Institute of Jamaica will be working hard towards having the 2020 poverty data available before the end of this calendar year, breaking this 2-year lag that we have in reporting on poverty. And it's going to be important to have that data because while we have a policy response, having the granular data will allow us to calibrate and fine-tune policy.
In news from the capital, the Kingston West Police have been reaping success with several arrests and convictions. Leader of the Screamers gang, Robert Graham, otherwise called Southie, was convicted in the Home Circuit Court yesterday. Graham was charged with shooting with intent and illegal possession of firearm. This following an incident in Arnett Gardens in the parish on April 20, 2020. He is scheduled to return to court for sentencing on Thursday, July 29. Meanwhile, Mario Rose, otherwise called Lucky, of 4th Street, Kingston 12, was charged with the murder of Lefine Bent, who was fatally shot on 3rd Street in the parish on Tuesday, June 15. Rose, who is a reputed leader of the Sox gang, will appear before the gun court on Friday, July 2. A team of officers assigned to the St. Catherine South Police Division arrested and charged 24-year-old Jermaine Gordon of Redwood Avenue Gutters in the parish with illegal possession of firearm and ammunition during an operation on the Gutters Main Road in Old Harbour yesterday. Reports from the Old Harbour Police coming into our news center tonight are that at approximately 11:30 p.m., law enforcement officers were in the area when they signaled the driver of a Toyota Mark X motor car with 3 men aboard to stop. The driver complied and the men in the vehicle were searched. One Browning 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 9 9mm rounds of ammunition was found in the possession of Gordon. He was subsequently arrested and charged. Gordon is scheduled to appear before the St. Catherine Parish Court on Friday, July 9. The 2 other men are scheduled to appear before the court to answer to breaches of the Disaster Risk Management Act. However, their court dates have not been finalized. Still making the news tonight, Tax Administration Jamaica, TAJ, will conduct maintenance activities to a section of its online platform beginning 7 p.m. Friday, July 2 to 7 a.m. Monday, July 5, 2021. The public is being advised that several of the tax authority's online service features will be suspended as scheduled maintenance work is being undertaken to improve the business experience of the online platform. Taxpayers will still be able to conduct some online transactions during the maintenance activities, including property tax payments and queries, traffic ticket and fitness fee payments. Additionally, persons will be able to conduct business using the TAJ mobile application downloadable from the Google Play Store. The app can also be used to conduct property and traffic ticket services on the go. Clients are being encouraged to conduct their transactions ahead of the scheduled system downtime, whether online or by visiting a tax office. For further information, call the Tax Administration Customer Care Center at 888-TAX-HELP. That's 888-829-4357, or visit their website at www.jamaicatax.gov.jm. And those are some of the stories making news. We will return with other stories as Prime Minister Andrew Holness addresses the handing over of the social housing project in Shooters Hill, Bull Bay. And the Cannabis Licensing Authority, CLA, is reporting an increased demand for Jamaican marijuana from the global marketplace. But first, we'll go to a break and then join Christopher Scott with the latest in sports.